Welcome to the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent.
Rachel, good afternoon. Thanks for joining me on this Friday at 4 podcast series. How are you?
I'm really good, Chuck. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I really appreciate you stepping in for Steve this week. He's traveling again on this Friday as he's been doing frequently.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Lucky
sorry to
him.
miss Steve, but I'm excited to be here. So,
Yeah, I appreciate it. So the topic today is positive mental attitude.
yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I think that that's a great topic. As you know, I'm a career coach and I work with people who are either trying to change their careers or they're looking for a job for one reason or another, sometimes because they just got laid off or because they've been on the market for a really long time. It's a tough job market. And one of the big things I work with people on is mindset, which is just another way to say positive mental attitude. And
Yeah.
that mindset, Chuck, it will get you every time. It'll make or break so many of those experiences for people.
Yeah, I'm glad I brought this topic up and talk to you about it, get you on because I know this really kind of gels with what you're doing and working on. I have struggled with this for quite some time. And, Napoleon Hill, for folks who don't know, he's pretty famous. He started this in 1937 and actually wrote a book about it, and while I don't want to, go too far off on that topic, on all that stuff, there's plenty of stuff, there's plenty of out there people can read up on it and listen about. But, the topic started with him and a quick definition and an overview of this, is choosing an optimistic outlook, focusing on potential and good outcomes in every situation, even difficulties, right? I mean, viewing challenges and opportunities and using faith, hope, and courage to find constructive solutions, right? I mean, that says a lot, I mean, there's a lot to unpack in that because if you don't stay positive, this mind up here can really ruin us and make us fall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's true. I feel like there might even be a bit of a difference between the way that I work with people, which is more on like your overall mindset and what you're describing with Napoleon Hill, which is that positive positive mental outlook thing, right? Because I feel like the positive mental outlook is more like you were saying, like being more optimistic, looking for the good, rather than looking for the negative, kind of that glass half full thing, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas the mindset stuff that I work on with people is more like I think of it as more like the frame that you see the world through. And it's like you carry that frame around with you. And depending on like how you crop it, like I might be like, man, Chuck only has half a face. Or I might be like, ah, look how great Chuck looks today in his blue shirt. Like it's sort of a like a people will come in and they'll tell me all about their terrible experience at their last job and how everybody hated them and blah, 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 and they don't feel like they can do anything. And as we talk, it's clear that not seeing, they're seeing it a certain way, not, and if they just scoot the frame over a little, it's like, what about all this other stuff? And that's not like a Pollyanna positive, like, I'm not just putting a positive spin on something for the heck of it. I'm asking them to look at it from a different angle, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it. There's a meme that's going around. I think I've seen it through Instagram. Two people on a train, right? One on the left, one on the right.
Yeah, yeah.
One look out the window, sees the sun shining, the other one looks over and sees the cliff. And that really says a lot, doesn't it? Because it all depends on
Yeah,
what side you're looking out of, right? I mean, your frame analogy really hits that good, right? I mean,
yeah, yeah. I think so. And yeah, there's a concept of reframing. I think it comes from I think there's some kind of like, I don't know if you've heard of neuralistic programming or NLP. I have not studied it, but there's like a concept in there of framing, and you can reframe things to be differently framed, I guess. And so that's kind of I think that's one of the concepts it comes from. But it's all related, right? I mean, whatever way you want to talk about it, whatever structure you use for it, it's essentially kind of controlling your, like regulating your own emotions and outlook on things. Because if you just get down in the doldrums about everything, then
Yeah.
it does have an effect on your life. It really does.
Yeah, and I think you hit it right because, when we go through things and the human mind sees that negativity hit us from all different angles, and we don't have something to bounce it off of, we're stuck kind of in our shell and we don't talk to people and network and connect,
Yeah.
it can really drag you down, right? Because I was just going through that a few weeks ago where I wasn't feeling good. I've been sick for like a week, and then 2 weeks I wasn't myself. And as I got
Yeah.
through that, I realized it was part of the positive mental attitude. I really let go of myself, and it was tough, but I got through it, and I got through it by leaning on some friends who, they kept pushing you through. They talk to you, they get you through these sticky points, and yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you what you do when you have these difficult points, because I've known you for a while now. I think I've known you for over a year, Chuck, or longer. We're
It's
starting to
almost two
be one of
years.
those
Yeah.
go way back kind of people. And
Yeah.
you are one of the people I consider to be very resilient. You just have this very resilient quality to you. And um that's not something that happens to a person by accident. We
Yeah.
cultivate that somehow. And so, yeah, I'd love to know your tips and tricks on being resilient, being adaptable, right? Because
Yeah.
that's a skill that I think a lot of people would like to have.
Yeah, and you hit it right. So there are some key characteristics to this, right? You got optimism and hope, right? You got resilience, as you just mentioned, courage, initiative, faith, and self-control, right? And we can use any of those in any order we want, or the ones that we can choose that work best for us, right? And I think you hit it
Hmm.
right. I think resilience hits for me, and self-control. You know, if you have that self-control and resilience, to know that whatever you're working with is going to get you through it, then you'll get through it. And I think courage and initiative, right? It takes courage to really stand up and say, I can do this. But you got to also have
Hmm.
the initiative to say, I can't stay where I am. I have to push through. And I think that's what helps me a lot is I'm a big person who self-analyzes a lot. I really, really look at the current situation. And then I think, well, how do we get through this? What do I have to do? You know?
Yeah.
And that's what helps me is I really just look at the situation from all different angles because like I said, I'm a big person who really self-assesses a lot. I look at where I've been, where I am, where am I headed, and then which way do I go? And you got to be resilient. You got to have self-control, and you really have to have that initiative and courage to push yourself through.
It's true. Yeah. Do you have any like personal mantras or like little sayings that you use to yourself when times are tough, when the chips are down?
With me, I look in the mirror at myself and say, you can do this. I don't really have
Hmm.
mantras. I don't really have any secret sauce or anything that, that says,
You
hey,
don't have a
this is my,
special button you press that's like, all
yeah,
right,
right.
it's go
This is
time.
my hoorah, right? Yeah. I wake up every day and I'm thankful I woke up, my feet at the floor, I'm breathing. It's going to be a great day.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how you have to start your day. And if you let one thing bother you the start of the day, the rest of the day can fall apart. So you have to
Mm.
take that one thing in the morning and just run with it. Say you stump your toe when you got out of bed. That happens. Keep moving. Oh no,
Yeah.
my toothbrush fell apart when I had to brush my teeth. Oh no, there's no toothpaste left. So these things can keep going. But if you tell yourself it's okay, that self-control, right? That courage and initiative to say it's okay. When I get out
Yeah.
that door, when I get moving, it's going to be okay. Then eventually the day
Hmm.
turns solid. That's how I roll every day.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was never much of a mantra person or positive quote person until I started my business
Hmm.
in 2024. And then I really needed some some positive mantras to help me because there were certain things that I would get impatient and want everything to happen now, or I would feel like I would start comparing myself to people that had been in business for like a year or more and start feeling like I was never going to be able to do this. And it would really mess with my outlook, right? My that positive outlook that I wanted to be having and that I needed to have. So I started putting up little sticky notes of things that kind of helped me. And one of them was comparison is the thief of joy. That's one that's really helped me a lot
Nice.
to help me stop comparing myself to and comparing my business to ones that have been around a long time.
Yeah.
And also progress over perfection. That's another one that helped me to just do stuff. Just do it, even though it's not
Perfect.
100% perfect. Yeah, because we
Yeah.
all have that tendency to be a perfectionist, like,
Yeah.
or
That's
to
something I
use it
had
as
to
an
step off
excuse
of.
to not do things. Yeah,
That's something to step off of because I wouldn't push forward until I was perfect with something. I still do it to this day, but I remind myself as I'm working on
it's
something,
hard. It is
Chuck,
hard.
it's okay. It's okay. It's not going to be perfect. Push through, you know? And
Yeah.
if anybody that's watching this has watched my show from the first, and I tell people all the time when I meet new people, I tell them, start from the beginning. Watch where I started. You'll get a good laugh. And then watch where I'm at today, and you'll see where I've learned and
Well,
grown.
but no kidding, you
You know?
got out there and you started. I mean, you were like you
I just
just
did
went
it.
and did stuff
Yeah.
and you didn't know where it was going to go. You didn't know if it was going to work. You just kind of
Yeah.
took a step and then you took another step and then another one and here you
Yeah.
are and you're still moving forward and I love that.
Yeah, thank you. And the biggest step that I'm working on now is the next step for me is now I have this document I'm working on for about a month or two now
Yeah.
that it's going to put me in front of people. And that's the next step is I want to get out there and start talking to people and say, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I have. I want to join me. That's a huge step, you know,
That's
huge.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for people watching, I feel like I'm taking over your podcast now, but for
It's
people
great.
watching who want to support you, who have been listening for a long time, like what kinds of things could they do to like get behind what you're doing and give you that like wind in your sails?
So right now, currently, I have a Patreon account set up. If you go to my
Hmm.
website, and I'm also teamed up with Feeding America. So anybody who supports my show, 10% of that goes to Feeding America. So that's one of my
That's
things.
fantastic.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
started that in November with the Thanksgiving episode. You know, I also have on my website. I've done some um, e-gift cards you could sign up that you could actually purchase on there that can help support me and get me moving forward. You know, it's fuel
Love
your
that.
journey. That's what I created. You know, so there's several ways. Host read ads is a big one. You know, I love to do host read ads for people who want to come on and help support any episode, and I can put an ad in for them.
Yeah.
Also, I put it in the show. I don't know if you've seen the October episode yet. That's where I actually have the credits. They
Hmm.
actually supplied the cupcakes for me with that episode. I was so thankful, and grateful for that
Ah,
episode.
that's
Yeah,
great. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, and I had so much participation for that episode. It was crazy. So many people reached out and said, "Oh man, I saw your email. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you will still have room for us." I said, "Well, slots are filled, but I appreciate it." And they're like, "Oh, maybe we can work in the future, do something." I said, "Maybe feel good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah." So there's several ways that you can help support. So
I
yeah,
love that. I need to get you to do a host read ad for me. I don't know why I haven't done it before, but yeah, we're gonna get on that after this. I'll contact you next week. And
yeah,
now you
absolutely.
are
Would love
also
to.
doing, how do people get you to come review their business or do the whole assessment, the chasing the stars thing at their business?
That's the cool thing about what I do is I'll pick the business, go undercover first like a mystery shopper. So they don't know I'm there.
Ah, okay, okay.
And then I contact them,
So
right?
watch for this face, guys. If he shows
Uh-huh.
up in your
Right.
space, you
And
might be being evaluated.
yeah, and the cupcake edition, it was kind of funny because my very first stop at PA Bakery, I walked in and I wasn't there. I bet you 30 seconds getting ready to do my review. And here she come walking down. "Hey, Charles." I'm like, uh, you know, it's me. I watched your podcast. I said, well, I guess I'm not doing a review today. She's like, nope.
That's great. I love that.
Right. So what I like to do eventually is get a team of people to work with me that can go ahead and do the reviews for me. They don't have to worry about doing
Yeah.
it, you know,
Yeah.
like the old mystery shopping way I did in 2008 with my first business. That would be a great way just to have people
Yeah.
do it for me, so that's the next goal.
Yeah. Then you can have a team of mystery people
Yeah.
in the little trench coats and hats and
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the ways, that's what I love to do. I love to support, love to help people. And this show is not about bringing people down and just, hurting businesses. This is about bringing them up, showing them things that they can work on, but also showing you that your reviews are
Right.
not really that bad, because you got a lot of stuff. It's
Mhm.
not the truth. And that if you listen to the episode on, the opening of my show, I tell you, it's the truth behind the stars. That's what I do, you know,
Yeah.
give you the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Good
just,
and
yeah,
bad.
I love what
And
you
you
do.
have
I love how focused it is on small businesses.
Yeah, but businesses have to be willing to accept that truth, right? And sometimes they're
Mhm.
not. It happens, Sometimes they don't like the
It's
fact that I gave
hard.
them the truth. It's hard. It is. Sometimes it's hard, but you know, 90% of 99% of mine have been very open to it. So
Yeah. And I would say to anybody watching, if you are listening, if you just want somebody to talk to about your business, I think Chuck is still discovering all of the ways that his business model is going to work. And so if you have a small business that you are like, I could use a conversation with Chuck. I think reach out to him and you guys might find a way to work together that he hasn't put on the menu yet, but that maybe he should. Because I think he's got a lot of expertise to offer with all of his mystery shopper experience, review experience, data analytics. He's got a lot of like random skill sets that kind of come together in this arena.
one thing I don't talk a lot about is my business snapshot that I put together, and it's in every episode that I do now.
I love that.
Yeah. And when I show it to people, they say the same thing. They're like, this is different. I've never seen this. Yeah.
You should be
Yeah.
selling that as a service. I've been telling
Yeah.
you that for like a year
How many
now.
times I've heard that? Yeah, that should
You
definitely be
should
a
be
service.
selling it as a standalone
Yeah.
service. I think people would
Yeah.
buy it. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking into working on how to weave that into my conversations. I put it in the show so people can see it. That way they can get a kind of a bird's eye view of what I'm doing with it. So nobody doing what I'm doing. That's definitely a very valuable piece of data that they just don't understand how valuable it is, you know?
Yeah, I think that I think there are probably people listening who have a business that, this works best for if you're like a small food dining related establishment or if you're what would you say? I mean, there are businesses that it works better for than others, I think.
That's cool about what I do, right? So you have the standard Chasing the Stars shows I can do for any business. I do
Right.
your podcast interview. I come out and record in your business. But in the
Hmm.
meantime, I've already done the uncovered review because I go out there before you know it, right?
Hmm.
We do the whole show. The spinoff Taste and Rated works good because I'm comparing you to two other competitors in different states, but I give you the data of the top 10 in your area. So that's a really good way to get a bird's eye view of what you're doing versus your competitors because I give the data of
Yeah.
a top review and a bottom review of your competitors so you can see what they're doing versus what you're doing.
Yep.
And
And
I
for
give you a
small
benchmark.
companies, they're not going
Yeah,
to do that themselves. Like,
right.
you don't have time because you're a
Yeah,
one man, two man, three man operation, and two
yeah,
of your men are your kids
yeah. And here's
or
the cool thing
something.
about what I do,
So,
right? Think about this. I run that snapshot today, right? And I got your benchmark, got your numbers. Here's where you're on Google, Yelp, and Facebook, right? Let's say
Hmm.
in 3 days, you just accumulated 15 reviews. Now those numbers just changed. So I could run it again, give you an update on where you stand versus
That's
your
right.
competitor, right?
That's
And then that
right.
whole can shift now because your competitors could have changed, right? They could have got worse, they could have got better, they could have got
And
another good
look,
review. Of
this
course.
translates directly to revenue. I mean, we all
Yeah.
know that when we're looking online for where to go for dinner or for where to buy a cake for our nephew's birthday or whatever the thing is, like we don't necessarily know. Like we're looking for um we're trusting the crowd, we're trusting the wisdom of the crowd, and we don't necessarily have time to do the groundwork, or nobody we know has used that service. So this is for like salons, bakeries, like special
Yeah.
occasion places. Like these guys, they should be all over what you're offering. I really
Yeah.
think that they
Yeah.
would dig it. So,
Yeah. Thing is, nobody knows about me yet. I got to get out there.
well, I'm telling you, Chuck, I am telling you. Yeah.
I got to get
Yep.
out there working on that. Yep. So let's
Yep.
talk a little bit about what Rachel's offering here, because I don't want to shortchange you on this episode, right? Because that's what this whole topic is about, right? This PMA, this positive mental
Yeah.
attitude, and that's right up your alley. Take 5 minutes and let's talk about, how you help people, what you're looking for, what you do, and who you're looking for, who are your
Yeah.
clients.
I'm working with people who are like experienced professionals who are looking to change jobs. They're looking to like overhaul their careers in some way. Maybe they're back on the job market because of a layoff or because are their careers have kind of stagnated in some way. That happens. I see that happen a lot with women who have risen to a certain point in the workforce and then they kind of don't get any further, right? Um, or you work at a place so long and then you kind of become invisible because you have all the skills. People can just give you things to do and you knock them out, but you want more you want more seniority, you want more pay, you want more challenges, and you just can't get them there. So I work with a lot of fantastic people. Um, and one of the things that I help them do is to see themselves in a new light, right? Um, and that's where that mental outlet comes in. So we do a lot of looking at like, kind of looking at your skills more objectively. So it's like, well, what kinds of things are you good at? Well, what are some profiles of people that are like you? Well, how do they talk about their skills? I do a full audit of their resume and their LinkedIn and overhaul it for them once I have a more complete picture of what they're targeting and what their skills and strengths are. Um, and often they don't recognize themselves. They say, this is all true, but now I need help seeing myself the way that you see me. Um,
That's
and we
important,
we
right?
do work
Because
on that.
that's
Yeah.
important, right? Because we see ourselves totally different than somebody else sees us. And we are really hard on ourselves until somebody else looks at us from a different view and says, wait a minute, that's not true. Don't think like that,
Yeah.
right? It happens. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that false humility or genuine humility, it doesn't serve you well in a job search
Yeah.
because if you go around saying uh that it was really the team who did it, not you. You have to be claiming some achievements or you're not going to get those, you know, those promotions that you're looking for when you switch jobs. And
I saw
it's
that back
so
in my corporate.
often,
I saw that back in my
yeah.
corporate field. I can think back to where I went wrong with that same thing. Sorry to cut you off, but I want to mention
Some
that
of the
because, yeah,
nicest people I know are the ones that do that. They're the ones that you would love to see moving up, but they're the same ones that are like, no, no, it was my team who did it.
yep,
And so then you've got it's just the
yep,
world is kind of structured strangely. So I look at it as my like Justice League, thing that I do where I try to make sure that the right people are getting pushed up, for consideration.
yeah. One thing I want to recommend to people is, and I want to get from you, how we contact you in a second, but I want people to know that I'm on your email list and I read every one of your emails. And I got to tell you, they are very beneficial. They are. And I really
you.
I'm going to add that into the show notes when I create this episode. I want to help you push that because I find that very, very useful. And I appreciate you for sticking out and taking the time to create that and send it out because that's not easy. It's a lot of work. Good
I
job.
really love, I love writing that now. And that's, speaking of, it all comes back to mental attitude. But when I started, that was really hard to do.
I'm sure.
I had a very hard time. I was afraid to send emails every week. Like, even though I
Mhm.
only had four people on my list, I was afraid to post on LinkedIn. Like, I didn't know what to say. It was really stressful. And now
Mhm.
that's become one of my favorite things is the email newsletter. I love it.
Yeah. I applaud you for that because it takes a lot of work. I've never, I started an email. I tried first business around and I tried when I reopened this business as a mystery shopping company and I couldn't do it. It's
It's
time
hard.
consuming. It's a lot of work.
It's
Yeah.
really hard. Yeah.
Yeah. I commend you for that. So yeah, I mean, tell our
Thank
audience
you.
how do we reach out to you? How do we contact you? Want to
Well,
reach and
if
get to
you
you?
go to my website, rachelgaddiscoaching.com/career coaching or /VIP. They both go to the same place, but one link is shorter. And Chuck, I just put them in the chat for you if you want to put them in the show notes, but it's
Will do.
rachelgaddiscoaching.com/VIP. That's just a landing page that shows you about my coaching and how it works and my process. And you can also book a call with me from that page. I do free consults. So you can just learn a little bit about me and what I do. You can also subscribe to my newsletter from any page on the site, in the footer. And yeah, please do check out my site, sign up, call and talk to me. I would love that.
Yeah, well, I'm saying I'm again repeating, before we close out this episode here, go to her website, sign up for that email list. I'm telling you, it's worth it. And when I see it come in, I get excited. I'm like, oh, another email from Rachel. I'm like,
Aw,
oh,
thank you,
yeah,
Chuck. That means a
I
lot. I
do.
appreciate it.
I look forward to it. Yeah, I'm like, and if a couple of days goes by, I'm like, I haven't seen an email from Rachel. I don't know what's going on. And boom, there it comes. Oh, there it is. Yeah. And I read every one of them, and I do. And I'm in my car
Mm,
most of the time. I'm either eating lunch or about to run into a client or whatever I'm doing. I'm
yeah,
reading that email wherever I'm at. And I
thank you
applaud you for
so
doing it.
much. That means a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. It's definitely worth it. And
Well,
like I said to the audience, look, sign up because it's good stuff. If you're in between jobs, looking for a job, struggling with that, Rachel is the person to talk to with that, correct?
yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I
Yeah.
try to make sure that I'm including a lot of free materials on the site, a lot of actually helpful information in my newsletters, because I never want it to just be like a feel good, you know, just a feel good jolt with nothing useful that you can do. So I try to have a good mix of like, it's fun, it makes you feel good, there's useful tips for you to try, just kind of information, data about the job market, stuff you might not know. There's kind of a
Yeah.
good mix of all of that. So, yeah.
That's correct. And there's one thing I love about it is I never get bored reading them. Like I don't see the same message twice. I don't like, oh, here she goes, another one of these boring scroll email, delete. It's something different and good in every email you send out. And that's good.
Thank you so much.
That
That's really
shows you know
nice.
what you're doing. It shows you know your business. You know? Yeah.
Thanks, Chuck. That's really
You're very
nice.
welcome. You're
Right
very
back
welcome.
at you. Right back at you. People need to hire you for their business and me for your career. So, we've got you covered either way. So, yeah, call us up.
That is a fact. That is a fact. Yep, absolutely. Well, Rachel, thanks for coming on this episode today with me. I know it was last
Thanks for
minute,
having
and
me. Thanks for
yeah,
having
I
me.
love having you on. I wish you could do it more. I know you're double busy as
I
everybody
think
else.
that I think it's going to get better now. And I always say that, but I think it's really true this time. But we'll see. The proof is in whether I show up, right? So I'll try to do more of that.
Well, you have the link now, so no excuse. You got the link. It's Friday at
Have the
4.
link. Have
Yeah,
the
it's Friday
link.
at 4, and that's the link. You can come at any time. I can add you to the show, and Steve would love to have you come in and be a guest. And we'd love to have you
Thank
every week.
you.
You know? Yeah.
I'll add it to my calendar and make it as much as I can.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. And Steve will love it too. Absolutely.
Hi, Steve.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Rachel, thanks again for coming on. I really appreciate this.
Thank you.
This Friday at 4. Like Steve always said, it's 4 o'clock somewhere.
Sparglock somewhere.
4 o'clock somewhere. So yeah. So enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great evening, and we'll
Same to
chat soon.
you.
Appreciate
All
you. Thank you
right.
for coming on.
Bye,
Take
everybody.
care. Take care, everybody. Thanks again, Rachel. Appreciate it.
You've been watching the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent. Thanks for watching.